Hi friends, right, let's talk about how do you study when you just learn a new topic. Right, I feel whenever you want to study, you always have a macro goal for that study session. So you always know in that study session, what are you actually going to study on? So let's say I study a topic about white blood cells and I know that white blood cell, it will like kill pathogens and stuff like that. So maybe my macro goal would just understand how a white blood cell actually works in the body. And then when you learn about a topic, so let's say you learn about white blood cells and you understand like how this phagocytes and lymphocytes white blood cell actually kills pathogens, you can like imagine it in pictures. So it's better to like imagine everything which is going on. So imagine the whole process of like white blood cell actually killing the pathogen than just reading text. And like as you learn more things about those white blood cells and stuff like that, you'll then be able to like imagine the whole process even better, and you'll understand like the whole process that white blood cell actually does, which is good. And you'll start to have like the joy learning that subject because you can like imagine the beauty of like what's going on essentially. And like there's this article which I've read which basically says like how some people memorize a deck of cards by relating those cards into people they remember and like places they've actually been to, and like they build a story out of that. And I feel like people who memorize like deck of cards where they basically have to memorize all of the 52 cards which is in the deck in a proper order, they basically memorize it in a story kind of format. So like whenever they see like king of clubs, they can think of Tiger Woods essentially, because like Tiger Woods is like the king of clubs, and like any card which is a heart could be like someone you love. So like a queens of heart could be like your mom, and like king of hearts could be like your dad and stuff like that. And like you can build a story out of those cards into like people you actually know and like places you have been. And that is like one way of like memorizing all of those deck of cards. So like whenever you want to study something big, you can like try and make a story out of it, so it'll be easier for you to understand. But like if it's kind of short, you can maybe just think of an acronym for it. For me, whenever like I park my car, the way I remember where I actually parked my car is by making an acronym of like the parking spot where I actually parked my car. So if it's actually in P1A13, I can just remember that because like P1 stands for like parking number 1. And like I could just remember that like 1 is like for first place, and like A fits first place because like A is the first alphabet. And like I can remember 13 because like 13 is like the minimum age where you can actually consider yourself as a teenager. So like I just build like some acronym of like the parking lot which I've parked my car essentially. And like for studying, you can also make acronyms. So if you want to memorize some reactivity or some group of elements, you can like just take those periodic table symbols and just relate it to some acronyms, or maybe you can like make a story out of all of those reactivity, and then you can remember it better. And I also feel whenever you're in study for something, try and like be engaged in it. If you're not really in the zone, I feel you're just going to get distracted. And then when you get distracted, you're going to realize that you're getting distracted, and then you'll study again. But like when you study again, you'll also get distracted again. It's just this cycle of like getting distracted and then studying again. So like if you want to study for something, try and be in the zone for it. Or if you're always like getting distracted and stuff like that, maybe do something else. So like maybe just take a break or just exercise or something like that. And I feel if you're always like studying but like you're getting distracted, it's like lifting weights but with a bad form. So in the end, if you like lift weights, but even though you have a bad form, you might still like build muscles, but like that will take a much longer time than just like lifting weights with the correct form. So like if you're always getting distracted when you're studying, then even though you might still like understand the specific topic after like reading it, but it will take longer time than actually just reading it when you're focused. And I made another video talking about like when you should study for long hours and when you shouldn't. It's somewhere over there if you want to check it out. And also, if you're ever stuck in a problem, first of all, you should ask your teacher and stuff like that. But also, you should definitely use YouTube videos for help, or like just search up in Google any problem which you have. Honestly, I actually had this topic called KNN algorithm in university, and I actually thought I understood everything which is going on with like the KNN algorithm through like the notes that my teacher gave and stuff like that. But turns out 2-3 days before the exam, I just searched up what KNN algorithm actually is on YouTube, and turns out like my whole definition of the algorithm was actually wrong, and I literally just learned everything through that 5-minute YouTube video, and I've spent like hours just learning the wrong stuff, to be honest. So yeah, like if you ever like stuck in a problem, just use YouTube or something like that. And definitely use YouTube when you're in university, because like in university there's a lot of self-work as well. I think in high school there's much more resources of like the things which you are learning in YouTube videos and like in Google searches. Sometimes in university, like the only resource we have to actually understand something is through like a PDF of like a PhD kind of thesis, which is just so complicated and so annoying. And honestly, I hate it when the only resource I have through Google is just a PDF article which I have to read. And maybe when you're learning something new, try and like read like a brush. So you essentially, for the first time around when you're reading something, maybe don't actually like read every single word 100%, but instead try and just outline like everything which is going on in that chapter and stuff like that. And like once you get a basic idea of that chapter, then maybe the next time around you can like read everything kind of thoroughly and stuff like that. So at least you kind of have the basic understanding the first time around when you read it, because like you're reading like a brush and like you're just trying to understand like the concepts which are going on in that topic, and like the next time around you like read the things more thoroughly. And like these are just some tips which can like help you when learning a new topic and stuff like that. But like, you know, I don't always do all of these things. So like I don't always make acronyms, and like I don't think of making a story for everything and stuff like that, because it does take some time, and I'm also lazy, of course. So essentially like the main thing is that you try and do like what works for you, because like everyone is different. There's no perfect study technique, so see what works for you. Alright, that's it for this video, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.